Now, today we are going to run electrophoresis by preparing hemoglobin lysate with these 4 samples by following the protocol. For the electrophoresis experiment, step 1 is the preparation of hemolysate. To prepare the hemolysate, we need the following material. First, blood sample. Second one, Eppendorf stand, pipette, tips, normal saline, NS, and carbon tetrachloride. And finally, the most important one is double distilled water to lyse the RBC, which is not shown here. And equipment we need are vortex and centrifuge. To perform the experiment, first we have to label the Eppendorfs with serial number or with sample number. Then take 50 microliters of settled RBC from the sodium EDTA vacutainer and transfer the 50 microliter RBC into the corresponding Eppendorf tube. After taking the samples, the next step is washing of the RBCs with the NS. Now you open the Eppendorf and pour NS up to the mark. Slowly mix the RBC in the NS to let proper wash of the RBC. Like that, continue with the other samples also. After ensuring proper mixing of the pellet in the NS, then transfer these tubes into centrifuge and maintain 3000 rpm for 3 minutes. After completion of 3 minutes centrifugation, we need to discard the supernatant and add 1 more ml of NS to repeat the step. Remove the supernatant carefully without disturbing the bottom pellet. Discard the tip and use fresh tip for each sample. Now we have removed the NS completely. Now we are going to add chilled double distilled water of 50 microliters to lyse the RBC. And mix with the 50 microliter. Now tap the RBC to mix properly. Then we are going to do the vortex. Three minutes of vortexing we need to do. After vortexing, the sample will be look like this. Okay, evenly distributed in the water. Now we are going to add 50 microliter of carbon tetrachloride to each sample. Change the tip, take the fresh tip, and don't touch the epinephrine. Next, like this, add carbon tetrachloride for the remaining samples also. After addition of carbon tetrachloride, we need to ensure that mixing properly by tapping tube. Now you do the vortexing of this for 3 minutes each sample. After vortexing, keep the sample aside for 2 to 3 minutes and we can see the separation of the layers, different layers clearly. Now we need to centrifuge this one at 3000 rpm for 30 minutes in the centrifuge. Now coming to the step 2, electrophoresis. For this we need to prepare running buffer, that is tris EDTA and boric acid buffer. Okay, we have already given the composition of this buffer in the protocol. Here I am using the composition for the preparation of 1.5 liter of running buffer. We have already mixed the required component in the required amount and we have prepared the buffer. The pH of this buffer will be adjusted automatically by the addition of acid and tris, and we have poured this buffer in the electrophoresis tank. This is the electrophoresis tank we got from the company, and in the tank they will provide 2 white colored plastic strips. We have to arrange these strips in the tank, and these strips has provided with 2 screws which maintain the position of the strip properly. Now this is the wick. We have already prepared this wick in the required dimensions, and please always try to maintain at least 3 mm to 4 mm of the thickness of each strip. Now the electrophoresis membrane will be bridged between these 2 strips. One will work as anode and another one work as cathode. We have removed 1 packet out of the 5 packet set which we got from the supplier, and if cut the top bottom carefully, because this liquid will keep the membrane always moist. That membrane should not dry completely. So please take care of keeping this liquid in the packet itself. And I have opened this one previously, and now I am taking 1 strip from the packet. These cellulose acetate strips are supplied with the support of 2 thick plastic sheets to protect the cellulose acetate membrane. Now I have already taken the 1 strip from the packet, and now I am going to cut this one. So make sure that please switch off the fans completely to avoid drying of the strip. Now I am going to cut this one into 8.5 into 8.5 size in centimeters. cut this membrane carefully with the help of scissors. Now we are transferring the 8.5 into 8.5 size strip into the running buffer for the socking purpose. Now carefully replace or keep the remaining strip in the pocket. Properly in the packet and make sure that at least one side of the strip should be immersed in the buffer given in the pocket, and preserve this packet in the 4 degrees centigrade, that is normal refrigeration. We have shown that preparation of hemolyzate and socking of the gel. Now it's already 2 hours over. Now we are preparing the beads. Okay, come close. Now these are the two anode and cathode separated with a white plastic strip. Take care of that there is no buffer overflow from this strip. Now I'm going to drain the excess buffer present on the membrane with the help of forceps. Take out the membrane with the help of forceps and let it drain the entire buffer from the strip. Otherwise it will create disturbance in the during the sample loading. But take care, it should not over dry. Only the excess buffer which is present on this should be drained. Now place this membrane across the two white adjustable blocks, and with the help of these wicks you just make sure it should not move apart, and there should not be any air bubbles present between the wick and the membrane. If air bubbles are there, that will hinder the electric flow, so the running pattern may be disturbed. Now I am closing. And these are the cards which we got from the company. I am switching on the power supply and then adjust the voltage to 200 volts. Now this is 200 volts and I am not changing any other parameters, but this is, as this is the pre-run, now we can set the time for 5 minutes, and now I am starting the unit. Pre-run for the 5 minutes is completed. Now we are making ready the samples to load on the gel. I am taking 10 microliters of each sample, controls and test sample, each one 10 microliter, and I am placing or putting a spot on the on a clean, dry, smooth surface. It is always better to use slide or glass for this purpose. Now this is the applicator I am going to use to spot the hemoglobin samples on the membrane. So I am removing the cords and the shield. Now each sample I will make sure that hemoglobin is spread evenly on the edge of this glass, and I will spot on that. So for that, dip the applicator in the hemoglobin lysate and test 1 or 2 times whether this is a giving clear line or not. Then after ensuring, then apply on the membrane like that. Now second one. Now you can see the spotted samples. In a line, and now I am closing this with the lid and attaching the cords, power cords for the power supply, and I am adjusting the time for 40 minutes. And I am starting the power supply. Now my power supply is on. Now you can see after 5 minutes the migration of the bands. Okay, the upper side near to the wick we can see the loading position, and after 5 minutes these samples are started moving further. We will see after 20 minutes. Here you can see the migrated bands after 40 minutes of time. Okay, so they have almost migrated to 50% of the membrane. Now in the next step we are going to strain this one. So I am stopping this power supply and removing this strip from the electrophoresis unit, and I will transfer this strip into the plastic container where we can dip the membrane in the staining solution for staining of the strip. Staining solution. Now I have transferred the membrane to plastic tray for the staining. Now I am pouring some amount of the staining solution into the tray. Now slowly stain the membrane by slowly agitating the or rocking the plastic tray. Now do it for 3 to 5 minutes. And recollect the staining solution, and you can use this several times. So don't throw this staining solution after single use. Now you can see that membrane got stained. Now we have to destain this one with 5% acetic acid solution. You have to do this destaining till the membrane background becomes white. Then only we can clearly distinguish the difference between the bands and banding pattern also. After 3-4 times of washing with 5% acetic acid, you can see that background is becoming clear and the bands are appearing now. Now we need to do 1 or 2 times more, then we will get the clear white background. Now you can see the clear background and bands of the hemoglobin with different patterns. First one, we have loaded sickle cell deceased person. Second one from left side, that is a trait, that is AS as told by the source. And between 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th are the samples which we have collected yesterday, and 7 and 8 are the control samples given by some other sources, and the 9th one is AA type hemoglobin as a control I have loaded. Now we can see that in the test samples of 4, 5, 6, 7, 4 and 5 are having fetal hemoglobin bands, not sickle cell bands, because in the first one sickle cell band is appearing little bit above the fetal hemoglobin bands. And similar pattern we can see here in the last control samples also.